DogDay is still alive in Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, and in this video I'm going to go over my theory of why I think he survived the gruesome attacks of the smiling critters. So if you don't want spoilers, too bad, sadly I have to deal with one. I am really sorry for that, but spoilers ahead for even more, so without further ado, let's just go hop into the theory of why I think DogDay still survived the gruesome attack. So we all know in Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, when you meet DogDay in the playhouse, he's of course hung up and then, talking to us about how we're the savior and all that, until a whole bunch of little smiling critters go inside him and assumingly possess him. But sadly, at this point in time, we do not know what they actually did. One, they could have, of course, just possessed him, made him like a puppet and walked like that. It, of course, makes sense. Or, of course, they could just be like hijacking his brain, making his turn evil. So we sadly do not know which of the two options, of course, actually is. But one thing we do know is that when he's tied up, his eyes, of course, do not glow up. But when he actually comes down and starts chasing us, his eyes do glow. And that's something really interesting, is that now he has glowing eyes. So let's say let's just say they are puppeteering him. One, they have no eyes there, and it wouldn't just be a whole bunch of different little dudes puppeteering in them. I do think they could be like is still inside, attached to his brain, hijacking his whole entire mind, something like that. It's the reason why he has the eyes. And also Catnap, also evil, also has the same eyes. Meaning that probably every single one of the giant smiling critters did used to have this eye, or the same glowing eye effect that now DogDay has when they turn evil, or when they're under the prototype's controls. Like we do know, the little smiling critters do give in, so they don't get eaten by Catnap, like DogDay says in his little speech before he also gets eaten alive from the inside. But maybe this is of course them hijacking his mind, so we all know that, now he's under the prototype's control and he's trying to get us. But another thing to keep in mind is when he's actually chasing us, this can either be a gameplay mechanic, or B, an actual story relevance, or kind of like hidden secret. Is when he's actually chasing us, when you get closer to the player, the monster is closer, and you start to get a little bit too close, you can actually hear his steps going a little bit slower, and he actually starts to slow down before it actually gets close to you. Kind of like let's say this is a story relevant spot. It's kind of like he's still in there a little bit, and he's trying to help himself, since we know DogDay is on our side. So it's like he's trying to help himself, trying not to catch up to the player so we don't, end up dying. But this can also just be a whole gameplay mechanic with, of course, they're trying to make it easier, kind of like how Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, all the other characters in the chase scene, every time they get close to you, they always slow down. This can, of course, just be the gameplay mechanic to make it easier for the whole player when they play the game. Or this could be for story, showing how DogDay is trying to fight back just so we don't lose, but of course eventually you will always get jump scared by him. But now let's go to the actual part that I do think is really important to talk about. At the end, when you had to switch into the purple hand and of course do that long jump, everybody probably noticed this, but after you go into the jump, the door shuts closed and you hear a screech. Now there's something really special about the screech, is because it does not sound like DogDay. I'll go and actually play some audios of when DogDay's getting possessed, and of course when DogDay jump scares you, when DogDay's like breathing, his voices sounds totally different from the scream. I'll play the voices from, of course, the jump scare, his noises, then I'll go and play you the actual jump scare audio. As you guys can see, they sound totally different. One is all growling like he's underwater, like he's gargling because he's getting possessed and all that stuff. But when he's, of course, the door closes, you can hear a huge screech. And we do know that DogDay was running at the door when it closed, or either DogDay could have actually hit his head into like the door and maybe snapped back into it. Hey, guess what? If you made it to this half of the video, I am legally required to ask you to subscribe, please, because subscribing really helps out this channel, and if you subscribe, it will just make my day, and it helps put my content to even more people on the channel. But if you do not want to subscribe, liking, commenting, or I guess finishing watching the video can actually help the channel out a lot more than you think. So if you do not want to subscribe, just doing any of the other four would really help. Subscribing, of course, is like the biggest thing you could do, but if you do not want to, that is fine. But this channel does a whole bunch of different Poppy Playtime related stuff, so if you love Poppy Playtime, horror related content, anything like that, this is definitely the channel for you. I also want to say the amazing DogDay render they actually see on the thumbnail was actually made by Monty Games. TV. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know. I don't think it's Monty at all. It's Montia, is it? If you not know this whole channel, it's an amazing channel that has a whole bunch of like realistic Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 and now 4 concept trailers of how things will look. Like, this is truly amazing, and huge credit to them, and thank you for giving me permission to use your render. But without further ado, let's just go back to the video and see you there. And those screams could have possibly been the mini smiling critters like rejecting his body and possibly leaving him there. That's why we hear a scream that is not DogDay's own scream, but is probably the smiling critter scream. Either, of course, A, he kind of like threw them up, or kind of like his body kind of like rejected them after hitting his head, unless he just didn't hit his head and he gets rejected them after that point. And that's why we hear a totally different scream that is not his own. Because why would the developers put two different audio streams, getting us used to how DogDay sounds, to just put a totally different sound when the door closes? That's why I do think that DogDay is still alive, and I do think that he's still probably going to have some type of importance in Chapter 4. I do hope, but we do know that Mob Entertainment does not care about killing main characters that we love. Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, now Kissy. Yeah, Mob Entertainment is ruthless, and they do not mind killing a character for the story relevance, which I do not mind, but I just hope DogDay has more importance in Chapter 4. Now, if you think that's all I have to say about DogDay, no, I do not. I have one last thing else to talk about, is when the door closes, we don't see DogDay die. Like, when it comes to Catnap, we see Catnap literally get stabbed in the whole head, Catnap's being dragged away, Catnap's dead, yeah, we see that. Mommy Longlegs got grinded up, yes, Mommy's dead, Huggy Wuggy fell off the whole entire pits. But why do you think there's a whole theory going around that Huggy is still alive? One, we didn't see Huggy's death. We didn't see him bleed out or get crushed or stabbed like Mommy and Catnap. Even Miss Delight got slammed on the door and we could see that she's dead. But when it comes to Huggy and DogDay, well, DogDay's a little bit even more different. It's just because the door just closes down and you hear a scream. It didn't close on him, it just closed down. Meaning that, let's say DogDay is, of course, sadly still possessed, he could, of course, still be alive. We don't know who could be in there. He could be the DogDay that, you know, the OG DogDay we all know and love, or he could be the possessed DogDay, but no matter what, my boy's still alive. They didn't show the death on screen. Everybody's assuming that he's bleeded out or has died of exhaustion after that whole boss fight, or maybe the screams was, of course, the prototype going into wiping and do the finishing blow. I do not think it is that, but it definitely sounds pretty strange how, of course, he squeals and the door closes down and we don't even see anything. Because, of course, when you all know cinema and story-based things, if we do not see a death, you do not see a body, you cannot confirm that person's dead. That's why we could confirm Catnap and Mommy Longlegs, but Huggy and DogDay, we can't really confirm them because we never really saw a body. And with all the different evidence that is pointed out now, it really does make it seem that DogDay is still alive, and we hopefully might be able to see more of him in Chapter 4, or get something later on, like a little Easter egg or a little something like that. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. You guys can let me know in the comments below, what do you guys do think about this? It's definitely really interesting to see all the different possibilities. If DogDay could still survive the gruesome attack he witnessed or went through. You guys can let me know in the comments below if you have anything else to add to this theory, and why you could possibly think that DogDay is still alive, or why you think that DogDay is sadly dead. Let me know if you would like to see DogDay in Chapter 4, and don't forget to check out half my other theories right here.